What's up guys, it's Scoopman5000 back for another action figure review. We're continuing on with the Dark Knight's Metal from McFarlane. Today we're looking at Batman Earth -32, the Dawnbreaker. And so we just looked at the Devastator. Now here's the Dawnbreaker, which is the evil Green Lantern parallel of Batman from Dark Knight's Metal. And I was super impressed with Devastator. He had a few issues more to do with his scale. That shouldn't be an issue here with the Dawnbreaker. A more normal sized character, but still looks like he's packed with detail. He's got a real fun accessory and all the business that you get with these McFarlane DC figures. So the packaging is the uniform, same thing we've been seeing for a while now. Nice big window, you see everything you're gonna get. On one side you got Batman Earth -32 with a window, and then on the other you just get that in larger text, Dark Knight's Metal as the subtitle. And then moving to the back, you get an awesome cover artwork of the character, and then you also do get some other characters offered by McFarlane, in this case the 2 Wonder Woman 84 figures and the 3 White Knight figures. Here's the barcode on the bottom. These guys are hitting Walmart right now. But with packaging out of the way, let's get to it and bust open the Dawnbreaker. And included with the Dawnbreaker with every DC multiverse is the trading card, and I absolutely love the trading card. I think it definitely incentivizes collecting. And it's a really long bio here, so I'm not going to read it. But basically, the origin of the Dawnbreaker is that he's a young Bruce Wayne, his parents were just murdered, he's given a Green Lantern ring, and the ring won't let him kill Joe Chill, but his willpower is stronger than that of the Green Lantern ring, so he kind of corrupts it, kills Joe Chill, and becomes another ruthless, murderous version of Batman. And even when the Green Lantern Corps finds out, they come and try to stop him, and he kills the whole Green Lantern Corps. So he's basically the only Green Lantern left, and like all these metal universes, they all kind of end the world, and then Batman Who Last recruits these other Batman. And then also included here, instead of the traditional black stand we get on these figures, we are instead getting a flight stand, and this is the same one we got with Superman. And I think one of the Wonder Womans came with it, but I haven't picked those up yet. So it comes in 2 pieces. You get a base here, and you could actually peg the foot onto the base. So that way, if you don't want to use it as a flight stand, you can use it as a regular stand. With Marvel Legends, again, I don't want to compare them to Marvel Legends so much, but they charge you for a deluxe figure when there's a flight stand, but here it's included with the $20 release. And then his only other accessory is one of his Green Lantern constructs, which is this awesome bat piece. It's a few bats flying around. There's no real way of attaching it to the figure. What you kind of have to do is just wrap around some of these parts around his wrist, but the effect is there. It's really cool. If you go ahead and combine that with the flight stand, you're going to get a pretty cool display right out of the box with this guy. But McFarlane really has the collector in mind here. You get a really cool display for the Dawnbreaker. And then to get into Dawnbreaker in greater detail, that's exactly what it is some great detail on this guy. Again, with McFarlane's, they're always going to be original sculpt, at least for the most part. And that's exactly what we get here. And the Dawnbreaker, like all these Dark Knights, is just such a great design. It's a Batman in a Green Lantern costume, but then, for whatever reason, they also made him kind of almost zombie looking. He's a lot thinner than the usual Batman build, and then also on his face here you could see he's almost got like a Two-Face lip going on. He's got this gray, wrinkled skin. It seems like the Batman cowls always get better and better with these releases. In terms of the cowl itself, he's obviously got these goggles over, which are unique to the Dawnbreaker, as well as these earpieces that kind of go out into some almost mechanical looking armor, I guess you could say. So that goes from the cowl, it's got kind of almost pipes, tubes looking, into this armor, which obviously would be generated by the Lantern suit. It leads down over the front. You can see more details on the neck here. And then that leads to his logo, which is the Batman's logo, with just a Green Lantern over it. When I reviewed the Devastator, I didn't even go over his logo. That's obviously just the Doomsday logo with some bat ears. And that's kind of the theme with all these Dark Knights. It's kind of interesting that we're getting a Dark Knight Metal Green Lantern before we're getting just a normal comic book version. Of course, we did get the Justice League Unlimited John Stewart, but just a normal comic book Green Lantern. That's kind of the big complaint with McFarlane Toys, is that they're not focusing on the core DC characters. They're going right for these variants of Batman and stuff like that. But for me, like, all those characters have been done before, and even in that scale, you have DC Essentials and all the other DC Collectibles lines, and they're not perfect, but they're good figures, and they'll fit in with these. And just for my taste, I'd much rather have a Dawnbreaker than just another traditional Green Lantern, but that's just my 2 cents about it, I guess. But like I said, pretty standard suit underneath all this armor and this neck piece. So you get kind of a textured looking black suit. It's done in some flat paint. It's also flat at the torso here, but then when you go to the belt details, the cuffs on the suit, and also the boots, they're done in a metallic that looks really good. It's the same metallic from this armor up here, so you get a very nice design. Just a overall good aesthetic. You got a lot of matching greens. You get the flat greens on the gloves and the suit, and then the black, obviously. So just looking at him as a design, it's a really cool figure. It's simple, I guess, if you want to call it that, but they did add a lot of details here, even on the belt. You see this little piece of technology, the silver on the belt. So there's a lot of detail here, a lot of detailed sculpt, and overall just a very pleasing looking figure. To go over his articulation, the head is on a ball joint, and you would think maybe these pipes would kind of limit it, but it doesn't seem to limit it that much. The head doesn't really go back at all to begin with, so it's not really going to limit it in that direction. It can look down a little bit, and it doesn't seem like there's any kickback from that neck piece, and you can even get a little bit of tilt. So overall the head isn't great, but it's about what you need with this guy. Then the torso is on a ball joint. Again, not the most range, but McFarlane's always going to favor sculpt over posability, I guess. But you do get another ball joint down here, so when you try to bring them all the way back, you can still bring them all the way. And then even forward, again, like Devastator, the sculpt of the torso kind of blocks it, but he goes forward decent enough. There is a butterfly in the shoulder there. It's decently usable, and I guess that's good for a Green Lantern. You can get him in some dynamic poses, you know, kind of showing off his power. Other than that, usual hinge and swivel, upper bicep cut, double jointed elbow, and then these McFarlane style ball hinges at the hands. McFarlane always has that style of leg articulation here with the hinges and all that inside the thighs here. So you get a little bit of a swivel, you go all the way out in splits, you kick back, you kick forward, you get a good double jointed knee, and then it's that same ball rocker that's on the wrist done on the boots. And also don't forget about the toe hinge. And overall, that's going to do it for the Dawnbreaker, and just a very impressive figure. This is something you show to someone who doubted the McFarlane DC line, and you could just see that the potential that it had and how it's executing that potential, because you get such a great sculpt, and the articulation really isn't bad for this level of sculpt. Aesthetically, there's no breaks really. The joints, I guess you could see in like elbows and knees, but those are pretty hidden by the dark black plastic, so you get a really good piece. It moves well and it looks awesome, and I don't have any quality control issues, anything like that. The paint's good, the sculpt's good, nothing's breaking off of them. So overall, just a super solid addition to the DC multiverse. And also, again, I'm very grateful that McFarlane started with Batman Who Laughs, and they're finishing off a Dark Knight's Metal team. They're committing to it, because it seems like with some of their other lines, like the Justice League animated, they made Superman, they made Batman, they made Green Lantern, and they haven't revisited it since. And now they're starting Teen Titans Cyborg. So just in terms of getting full teams, if there was anyone I wanted to be complete, it was Dark Knight's Metal. So I'm glad we're getting that. And with him out of the way, we'll go ahead and do my favorite part, and let's do some comparison. So here he is with the Detective Comics 1000 Batman, as well as the blue variant of the animated series. And thankfully, these guys all scale perfectly together. They're just about the same height. Obviously, these are all different universes, I guess you could say. And I can't wait to get that metal Batman with the more Rebirth logo on the chest. And really a great sculpt on that figure as well. That whole Merciless Wave looks really awesome. And that's going to be basically the finisher to our Dark Knight's Metal team. And then here's the Arkham Asylum Batman and Joker, and again, a pretty good relative scale here. There's been a few misses with scale in this line, but overall it seems to be pretty consistent. And then here's NECA Batman, who's definitely my favorite Batman figure in the collection, as well as the recently reviewed Azrael Batman. And then for some other Lantern characters, we have the Sinestro Batman from Mattel, I guess another evil parallel Lantern. And then we also have McFarlane's Wave 1 John Stewart animated figure. And overall, that's going to do it for the Dawnbreaker. And even just look at this. Just a few seconds of posing him on the flight stand with that accessory. It's all you need for just a beautiful display piece from McFarlane. And if I haven't said it before, I'll say it a million times again. I love this McFarlane line. And I'll say the same thing I said for Devastator. You're just not going to get this at this price point with any other company. It's for different reasons with Devastator. It's just more the size of Devastator. And in this case, it's really showing off how the sculpt, the aesthetic is just so perfect on these figures, and then including the flight stand, including that lantern construct, you have an instant display. And honestly, looking at this right now, it looks like a statue, it looks expensive, and again, it's just a $20 figure, $15 figure if you get it on sale at Walmart. So overall, I love this figure, and you can see some figure photography of them over to Instagram, scoopman_5000. I'm going to be reviewing the rest of those metal figures and any other action figure reviews, so you want to stay tuned right here on the channel. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next action figure review.